All right, so truth be told, one of the conversations we must have is about the big visit by Donald Trump to India. Of course, the big pomp and splendor in Ahmedabad, in the stadium in which he spoke, where he said Namaste and Sachin Tendulkar and DDLJ, and there was roaring applause, is all very well. What is in this visit for India? Has anything emerged? Now, Donald Trump has made the statement that there will be a $3 billion sort of deal, defense equipment deal that will be signed on Tuesday, and this is something we already knew. But is there a new development strategically that comes out of this for India for this entire trip? And to ask that question, I'm going to get Neerja Chaudhary on the phone line again. Remember, Neerja Chaudhary is a senior journalist, and she spoke to us last week of where she believes the contribution of this visit really is, and why she believes this is of any benefit to the two men in question, which is the Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump, the President of the United States. Ms. Chaudhary, this is Faye D'Souza. Can I put you on speakerphone, please? Okay. So Neerja Chaudhary is a senior journalist who joins us on the phone line. Remember, she was in the studio last week telling us what she believes the advantage is to India, if any, and what the advantage possibly is to Prime Minister Modi and to President Donald Trump from this entire visit. Ms. Chaudhary, we have made an announcement, we've had heard an announcement of a $3 billion defense equipment deal that was likely to be signed, but this is something we already knew. Do you see any sort of strategic benefit emerging from this visit to India?
I think Narendra Modi has gained enormously, because it's reinforced his image as a leader. Mm-hmm. You have the most powerful man in the world, President of the United States, come to India and praise him and India in the way we did yesterday.
Yes.
And for Modi to mount an event which wowed Donald Trump and his entire family and his team, also showed that Modi was popular and could deliver. Of course, it showed BJP's own phenomenal skill to mobilize people, again in Acta Matera Stadium, in the way they did it, and 9 people on the road, as he had promised Trump that he would do, that it would be the biggest. And probably Trump was looking at a larger reception than any of the US presidents have ever had in India.
Yes.
So, and that Modi delivered to him. Now, the other thing, of course, is that Trump did not say anything on Jammu and Kashmir. And that is also, I suppose, would be seen by some as a victory for Modi. He also did not say much on religious freedom, which we kept hearing in the days preceding the visit that he will make some such statement. Now, whether he does so before leaving remains to be seen, but this was expected in the light of nationwide protests against the CA and the NRC. And of course, there was widespread violence in Delhi, even as Trump was arriving in the capital. But he referred to religious freedom in very general terms of India being a place where Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, Jews all worship side by side and lived in harmony. And he didn't refer to the recent discordant things that were happening in India.
Yes.
So that also is, I think Narendra Modi must have calculated if he gets Trump at this stage to India, then any kind of criticism by the Western world, any committees or individual MPs will become secondary if, as I said, the most powerful man virtually endorses you. So, yes, so I think all these will be things that India...
Well, to be fair, Ms. Chaudhary, you've pointed out some very interesting points, but these are all benefits to the two individuals in play, which is the Prime Minister and the President of the United States. Is there a benefit to India as a country here?
Now, that is what we have to look at. Yesterday was optics, today will be substance. And this is a question many people are asking. What is there in it for India? Now, the question arises, and I don't know the answer to that. What we've seen is the very nature of summit politics undergoing a change. It's become a huge extravaganza, showmanship of the kind we saw by both the leaders yesterday. And we've seen Modi display that, at event after event or world leaders that he's welcomed to India during his term. Now, we know foreign policy is all about enlightened self-interest when push comes to shove. And of course, you can calculate that Trump is not like other leaders, and maybe he's one who can go beyond the confines of institutions and can make statements, can make commitments, on the spur of the moment or moved by, warmth and welcome. Now, how much this is my question, how much does a soft approach influence hard decisions? Does it add to incremental processes? Something that you may not get a good deal on trade today. A big trade agreement is not expected. Of course, various commercial pacts are expected, defense acquisitions, and what Trump talked about, the most feared military equipment, military helicopters, all those are, on the anvil. But is it a part of a process of, getting closer to the United States in a way where there is huge rapport and bonhomie between the two leaders of the two democracies? Yes. Now, does it ultimately yield you dividends? I don't know the answer to that. But many people believe that it might help in the long run.
In fact, Ms. Chaudhary, Donald Trump has been in that way, there has been some level of doublespeak in the sense that whenever he's been with Narendra Modi, he'd say, this is a good friend of mine, he's a big gentleman. But he'd also make statements about how India has treated US very badly in the trade deal, how India should cut tariffs, how India is not opening its markets to America. He would also make similar comments when in the presence of the Pakistan Prime Minister. Do you think that this sort of an event will smoothen out those issues or that level of communication?
Not so simple. Not so simple at all. And he referred to this, Modi being a very hard bargainer. In a speech. So I say while this optics is important, it helps, in the processes. It is not, the hard negotiations, the self-interest of the United States, how much can he concede in an election year. He's got to think of his, employment situation. We have to safeguard our make in India, skilled India, our unemployment situation. Yes. We need to, get investment. So certainly that requires different kinds of skills behind closed doors, which will be happening today. So this question that many ordinary Indians are asking also, all right, Trump has an election on his hands, and it suits him today to do a Howdy Modi kind of event in India, and therefore acquire a larger than life persona in an election year, reach out to the 4 million Indian Americans. He had good words for them. All that's fine. But what is in it for me? And there is also this criticism that do we as Indians get carried away with emotion? We get too easily happy with if somebody praises us, our country. We're very happy with it and we'll applaud it. Whereas other countries are much better at hard bargaining. What is it that you're giving to me in return for what I am giving to you?
Yes.
So that is a very legitimate criticism, and those are questions that need to be asked and will be asked.
Yes, those are questions that should be asked and will be asked. Ms. Chaudhary, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon and having this conversation with me. I really appreciate your time. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Right, Diksha Chaudhary putting it very well. She did say, of course, that for Prime Minister Modi, the victory here is the fact that Donald Trump has not mentioned Kashmir. He's not mentioned sort of religious freedom as it was said that he would during his speech. He did compliment the Prime Minister for bringing people together. So in that sense, this is an endorsement for the Prime Minister from one of the most powerful people in the world. On the other hand, Donald Trump gets to portray himself as a friend of India in an election year, appealing to the large number of Indian diaspora US citizens who are going to be voting in the next 1 year, and this is largely perhaps targeting that. But the question is, well, what is in it for India? I suppose we will find out in the next 24 hours as some sort of details emerge on whether or not there is a trade deal. Remember, the US Donald Trump tossed India out of a special trade deal that categorized us as a developing nation. Now, in that deal, while we were allowed to export to the US, we didn't have to open our agriculture markets or our other markets to the US goods, because we're a developing nation. It was a special status. They withdrew that special status from us and demanded that if we want it back, we actually have to open our markets to their agriculture and their dairy sort of exports. This is something that India has stood firmly on, and negotiations have gotten us nowhere for the last 1 year. Will there be a change in this particular visit? We don't know, because so far it seems like that trade deal is not on the cards, at least in this visit. So what's in it for India? We're going to have to keep a close eye on any sort of information that comes out of those conversations. All right, remember, on Truth Be Told, if you want us to look at any other story, leave us a comment and give us your feedback. I'd be very happy to hear your feedback on the show, and if there's anything you particularly want us to look at on the show. Thanks for watching.